Warm greetings. This is Dr. Mansi Bal Bhargav signing in from Wilhelmshaven, Germany. I'm here as a senior researcher with University of Waldenburg on a project originally hailing from Ahmedabad, the city of Gandhi, and of course the city of Modi as well. I have been constantly watching what's going on at Jantar Mantar for last more than 48 hours, including when Sonam Wangchuk was abducted unlawfully, and even before that. And in, in fact, from day zero, Cockroach Janata Party was formed. I signed up for it. I am also a cockroach, a little bit senior cockroach in that sense. Today, I stand in complete solidarity with the Gen Z movement and the protest they have developed over last 2 months, I must say, and especially for the reasons they are doing it. Seeking justice for education and seeking accountability for educational reforms. And I want to put my points to three different stakeholders of this entire process: parents and teachers, the leaders, and the youth itself. Let me start with parents and teachers. It's my humble request that please stop parenting and schooling children and students to not follow politics. Everyone in this country should know politics, should follow politics, should be keen political observer. Importantly, to learn what is meant to be a good citizen, what it is to be in a democracy, why dissent is important part of democracy, why we should really raise voice for anything going wrong, for anyone who is being facing injustice. We have to learn not only our rights but also our duties. So please, learning about maths, biology are important, English literature are important, but learning about politics, sociology, psychology are extremely important subjects. Let them learn. Of course, sports, music, arts, everything is important for children. But please get them out of the rat race of all these competitive exams. I'm not saying that there should not be competitive exams, but please do not stress them. We are losing many children, many bright children in this competitive rat race. And when, with lot of courage, all these youth and students have formed a group, this is the first time we are seeing such a large Gen Z protest in the country. My generation could not do the protest. I know we did little bit in our early age on Mandal Commission. And I still regret as a young person that time that I was standing on the wrong side. But today I am aware, conscious, aged, and I would like to be on the right side of the dissent. Please go and support. And I'm so grateful to all those teachers, all those parents who came, many parents who also came who lost their child. Deep condolence to them and deep gratitude to all the teachers who worked there, all the professors, Professor Nivedita, Avinash sir, thank you so much for being there. Now, the second stakeholders for me are extremely important in this kind of dissent and protest are the leaders, political leaders, all kinds of other leaders as well. To start with, pranam to Swami Shivanandji who came there because we also know similar protest which happens for saving Ganga from Sananji to Nigmananji, and Padmavati is still struggling at Matri Sadan Haridwar. But then it was very overwhelming to see large number of political leaders walking to Jantar Mantar to showcase their solidarity. Slowly, we also saw large number of celebrities who also walked. I also put them in the leadership category because they influence people. Grateful to Prakash Raj, Shabana Azmi, many more people who have walked there. And definitely, it was a sigh of relief. It was kind of reclamation of democracy, I must say, when I saw people from all kinds of parties reach there. From Mahua Moitra to Sanjay Singh to Manish Sisodia to Supriya Ji to Dimple Yadav, even Mr. Pawan Khera from Congress, and my favorite, of course, Azad. You deserve much more than what you have, Chandrasekhar. You really won hearts of everyone by standing last night with the students when they needed a leader the most, especially after the way Sonam Wangchuk was abducted. In the list of leaders, of course, deep gratitude to Sonam Wangchuk to lead this movement in a meaningful way, in a peaceful way, guiding the youth and ensuring that they are not distracted and there is no destruction as well. Your values are clearly visible at Jantar Mantar. Please take care. We all are very ashamed. It was not you who was draped into white clothes and taken away in such an undignified way. It was democracy dying every second when you were manhandled. I hope a speedy recovery for you, and of course, the demand of this protest is also met. Now, my last set of stakeholders, which are the heroes of this entire movement. Kudos to all the students, all the children, all the youth who gathered courage to come out and stand for this protest, this movement. And it is not limited to Jantar Mantar alone. Youth from across the country, all over, we see a big march in Mumbai, Sikar, Northeast, Guwahati, Arunachal. We saw in Nagpur also. We saw in Raipur. I can go on and name these cities, but that's not the point. So Jantar Mantar definitely became a focal point, but it was so overwhelming and so comforting to see that there were Jantar Mantars all over the country. And that is how it should be. Youth must learn that they are the majority population in the country. 64% of the country is made up of young generation. India is then a young country. What on earth then makes these old men, majority men, to actually lead us, mislead us to many unknown directions to the darkness? So I'm actually going to vouch for you that while India is still fighting for its gender reservation or women reservation in the parliament, I think this is also a moment when we should talk about gender and generation reservation in the parliament. If every job has a retirement age, if every job requires a qualification, I think this is the time when youth should demand in their education reforms that every politician must retire, no retirement perks, and that every politician has to have the qualification for the ministry they handle. An uneducated person cannot be an education minister. Likewise, I have been constantly saying, a non environmentalist cannot be an environmental minister. It is also overwhelming to see how many student organizations have come forward and supported this movement, and they have been doing it for years. So I must congratulate AISA for it, SFI for it, NSUI for it, and many NGOs across the country, youth led NGOs, many youth who did come on their individual front, and many people who came with their parents, many parents who came with their children also. You show a solidarity to this situation, that there is an urgent need for reform. You also showcase that we do not need a developed nation where education itself is doomed. We need a developed nation where every child has access to education, every child has access to his or her dreams, and there is a fair education for all. You must ask what is the investigation results, because it's already quite some time. Conducting a re-need and closing the result is not the answer. It may be a course correction, still it needs to be investigated. You must demand, because your um, website and social media handles tells me that there are more than 80 leaks in last 1 decade, which is quite a lot and devastating for many youth who have to reappear, and few also gave up their lives because they completely lost control and get courage to redo the whole stress. It is also important for every youth to realize that we are going through a serious leadership crisis in the country. And I have been talking about it for a long time, that we need youth to lead the country. We don't need old men to lead the country. We also see from history that youth reformers are extremely important to change the course of the nation, whether it is Vietnam, whether it is Tiananmen Square agitation, whether it is Egypt rise and recent time in Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka. We saw how youth, if they are cornered endlessly, they have the ability to rise. It's just that how you do it, what you are aiming for, it is extremely important. I think we have to realize the fact that we have a democracy. We really fought for it, and there is a serious space for dissent in democracy. It is also important that we realize that dissent must continue, because the death of the dissent is also death of the democracy. And I do not wish that my younger generation is devoid of the freedom which we earned with great effort, which is satyagraha. So I salute your satyagraha at this moment. All the youth, more than 30 people are on hunger strike. We are only talking about Sonam Wangchuk because he is face of the movement. And now Abhijit Dipke himself is on hunger strike. But Neha, the entire AISA team, all the youth whose name I don't know, please pardon me for that. I wish the entire protest management actually releases the name of all the youth who went on hunger strike, so that we can acknowledge them and appreciate their efforts. Last but not the least, for them, that they need to realize what is the meaning of developed nation, and they have to learn that a developed nation is something which is inclusive, where education is fair, where we have access to all kinds of resources, where we become one of the primary resource of the country, and where we have to be taught about what it is to be a good citizen as part of education. We cannot receive education to only get employment. The first thing first we have to learn is to become a good citizen. And to become a good citizen, it is important to be able to think and to be able to question. For a long time, I have remained very sad but yet optimistic thinking that it is only youth who can do. You may watch my previous videos as well on this, that youth is extremely required to bring reforms to this country. So once again, congratulations that you could manage to pull this movement to this far peacefully in a very clean manner with no conflict whatsoever. Despite the way Sonam Wangchuk was abducted, I could see the way you have really uh, maintained the dignity of a peaceful protest, and be reminded that we are a nation of Satyagraha. We got our independence out of Satyagraha. So we cannot uh, deny the power of Satyagraha. And on top of it, hunger strike has been also a very strong tool utilized by the nation, be it Sonam Wangchuk himself and his father. But we need to also understand, and that's my last bit, and that is to the government of India for their very, very undemocratic behavior. We need to understand where is the relationship between government and the people. It's my urge to the government of India to stop being arrogant. Sorry. Listen to the people. It's my urge to the government to stop behaving undemocratic, unconstitutional. And please be reminded that if we talk about Padhega India to Badhega India, then we have to work on education reforms. And all what these youth are asking is to bring a change in the way education is happening. And importantly, it's not about this protest alone. Government has to realize the whole nation is on protest. Whether it is protest of Chita Andolan, whether it is teachers' protest, whether it is workers' protest in Noida, whether it is farmers' protest, whether it is Northeast protest. But government of India cannot continue to be indifferent to all these kind of protests. We have to be reminded, and also government of India has to remember that it is the duty of any government servant, including the highest post of prime minister and president, who are government servants, to listen to the people of the country, engage in a dialogue. Democracy cannot run without conversations. And it is a responsibility of the government to pacify conflicts. And if the electorate is unable to do it, it is my request to the President of India to intervene and resolve this matter. Because we have been seeing for a long time that the opposition voices have been completely sabotaged, right from buying of ministers to stopping the mic, silencing the mic in the parliament. This has to change if we really want to continue as democracy. Democracy is not just a tick mark in a form and just putting it aside in the cupboard. Democracy means dialogues. Democracy means arriving to some kind of consensus about making the society better. And I think education reform is completely the most urgent thing that we need. The national education policy done in hush hush when the whole country was under lockdown was already an undemocratic process. So it's at least a step done there. Now it's a good idea to take it further and bring reforms and amendments, whatever is required there. But just considering the young generation of the country as Dahshat Gardon ki B team, do you realize what you're talking about? You're talking about half of the country is like terrorist. This is not done. This cannot be an accepted statement by a minister in position. I think it's just because of this line itself, there is a moral responsibility for a minister to resign, let alone those 80 paper leaks. I am not asking for resign through this argument here, but what I am requesting that we have some of the wonderful minds as teachers in the country. Why not make a committee of those kind of people and look for reforms? We also saw how Gitanjali Angma has beautifully laid out 10 points of reform. They can be developed further. I also have laid out 5 more points to add there. I think we need a dialogue, a discussion with people who matter and people who can really handle this situation. We cannot have an uneducated person as education minister. Government of India has to rethink the way it is trying to run the society. We are no more going to be accepting the communal angle of governing the society, the religious angle of governing the society. Please keep the religion out of all this governance. Let religion stay as a private matter. Please walk out of the comfort zone. Please walk out of the complacency and reach out to the students. All they are asking you is to be heard. And in a democracy, every citizen wants to be heard, and that is also the constitutional right, and it is also the constitutional duty of the government. Please do not fail us from our hope of a democracy. Please restore our trust in democracy. Every youth, every child is looking up to you as what is there for them in the future. Do not disappoint them. Initiate a dialogue. Do not use foul languages inside the parliament and outside the parliament for these young people who have really gathered a lot of courage to come out and speak about it. Do not stop them from their planned march on 20th of July. I am closely observing. I know still the permission has not been granted. I wish it was taken in a democratic spirit and the permission was granted. I can't push it further, but I also have request to the Supreme Court of India after the President of India. Supreme Court, please take suo moto of the situation. What are you waiting for? Look at, we cannot let our children be on the streets for days and days and lose not only their time but also their education and their health. There has to be some level of accountability on this angle as well. Forget that it's only about education. It's about everything. Look at Neha, the way she's lying there. Look at Manish. We cannot let these children die for the sake of corruption which has happened in the paper leaks. There has to be some level of responsibility. I know for last many years we have not had any moral accountability and resignations in the government, which is already a failing aspect of a democracy. If I look at from my political observation of last 30 plus years, many ministers have resigned on moral grounds. And here we don't even have a moral situation. We have a clear situation where everything has gone wrong in paper leak. And on top of it, using wrong address, foul language for the younger generation itself is a problem. Many of us also know that we are breaking our head against the wall, but still we have to keep trying. We have to really keep trying. And it is my urge that when on 20th Parliament session starts, that entire opposition parties really roar in the Parliament and make the voices of the youth heard, make the voices of all those different groups who are protesting in all parts of the country not only for education, for many other reasons, for ethanol, for land grabbing, for water, for many other things. Please get their voice into the parliament. I am very hopeful from this protest that there will be emergence of new set of leaders, which I was so much looking forward to, because in my generation we would not produce as many leaders as the country needed, because my generation parents and teachers told us that politics is bad and stay away from it. But I hope this generation parents and all of us tell students, tell children that it is extremely important to be politically aware, because that influences your life. To all the bachas out there, stay strong, enjoy your historical moment. It's your time, it's your day. Stay peaceful as you have demonstrated a wonderful protest, and be reminded, in the land of Gandhi, Satyagraha is our most important tool. Be reminded, Bhagat Singh told us we need to be heard. Inqilab Zindabad. Stay strong and stay blessed. Thank you.